Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to 2026, and also welcome to my channel. I'm Ashanti, the lovely Ashanti to be exact, and in today's video we're just doing a yap sesh. So I'm just going to be talking about my 2025 goals and did I accomplish them, and just yapping, to be honest. So if you want to know about my life and if I accomplish my goals, then stay tuned, you nosies. So the last time I checked in with you guys, I was talking about how to continue your momentum in 2025. Well, 2025 is now over. It's officially 2026. And I want to just do a recap. Like, was I able to accomplish the goals that I set out for myself in 2025? And just like a brief overview, I personally think I did. So a couple years ago, I did vision boards and I started actually writing down my goals and things I wanted to accomplish, and it worked. But then I learned more about like visualizing your goals. So instead of making like a physical like paper hard copy vision board, I started doing virtual vision boards. So for the past, I think 3 years, I have done virtual vision boards, and I've just kept them as like my screensaver. So every year before the new year begins, I like to make a vision board, and I typically make it in Canva. This isn't sponsored, but Canva is just free, and I typically just find like pictures and inspiration either on Google or Pinterest or even watching YouTube, and then I create these vision boards. So if you can see, here's my vision board for 2020, or what? Here's my vision board for 2025, or it was for 2025, and it is very cutesy. I'll also like insert a picture of it somewhere on the screen, but basically 2025 was my year, and 2025 was like the first year I actually declared that it was going to be my year, and I can officially say like 2025 was my year. I was very intentional about my goals and my goal setting process, and like determination, and like not even motivation, but like the discipline and drive that I had to actually accomplish the goals that I wanted to achieve, because I just viewed like the bigger picture, the end goal. Last year, so before 2025, so 2024, stuff happened and I just didn't want to continue that like cycle. So literally in October of 2024, I just had like a personal self-talk with myself, and I'm like, we need to like really get ourselves together, because I don't want to continue the same cycles year after year. Like, we're always saying, oh, this year gonna be my year, this, but how do we actually achieve that year and make that year our year? Like, you have to break some type of cycle or some type of thing that you're in to actually like get to, this is gonna be my year and it's actually gonna be your year. So in 2024, like around October, I sat down with myself and had like a talk and like asked myself, like, what do you want?
What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want? God damn it. What do you want?
And that was a monumental like stepping stone in my process for 2025. And sorry if I sound like raspy. I went out to the club yesterday and I had me a good time. So I think I'm losing my voice, or even that I'm sick, because look what I got on. Like, it's 27 degrees and we got summer clothes on. But anyway, it is a long romper. I didn't take pictures, but I'll maybe insert. Anyway, besides the point. But what was I saying? Yes, like that talk or chat with myself was like a stepping stone so that in 2025 I could get the year that I wanted. And I'm not gonna just say like, oh, in October I did all the work so I knew. No, it was a long ongoing process. So from October basically through 2025, I was doing this process to make 2025 my year. But basically from October to December, I like kind of hashed out like, what do I want my 2025 to look like? And long story short, I wound up going on like a retreat in December of last year, and that was just remarkable. That is what I would say was another stepping stone for me. I had time to just be in nature, eat very like clean food, and just get away from like the day-to-day busy life for about like a week. And yeah, even then, like, I just kept so much stuff like low key, because in October, that was a decision. I was like, you know what? Well, actually, like, if I really start and like give y'all a whole spiel of my life, because I have to talk about 2024 to give you 2025. But basically, like, beginning of October, maybe end of September 2024, I was like, something has got to change. Like, I can't keep living in this cycle of like, I don't really want to talk about it right now, but just negative things, like just negative things. Like, we're just gonna keep it there. And so I was just like, you know what, let's just take a leap of faith. And I took a leap of faith. I wind up saying that, okay, I'm gonna move out. I don't know where any of my stuff is, but your girl has officially moved in her apartment. I am so excited. And I kept that to myself for like a couple of months before I told my mother, and then eventually my dad. But like, I didn't tell nobody. And I'm also a big firm believer on like, some things you just have to keep to yourself, because people will always talk and that'll influence your decision. And I didn't want anybody influencing my decision, so I just kept it to myself. Same thing with my retreat in December, because this was the first time I was going to California and I was flying across the country by myself, and that was a big step for me. And then also it was a retreat, so I don't know about you, but some people think like certain retreats are like kind of cultish. So basically, when I finally revealed that I was going on a retreat, everybody was like, oh my goodness, you're gonna go join a cult, yeah, da, da, da. But I was like, I won't know what I'm joining or doing until I get there. Like, you'll always see stuff online and whatnot, and you'll talk to the people, but you won't know what you get until you get there. And it wound up not being a cult, or at least in my experience, it wasn't a cult. But for me, what I took from it, because it's my experience, I took from it just like tranquility and relaxation. I was actually able to like just kind of have like a moment in time where like time kind of kept going on, but it kind of like stopped and allowed me to like gather my thoughts. And that's when I started like writing down like the goals and things that I wanted for not even just 2025 but beyond. So for me, I keep mentioning like stepping stone, but 2025 was a stepping stone for my future, like ahead. So I wasn't just thinking about 2025 when I did my goal planning. I was just thinking about like a bigger picture. I started planning my goals in a little bit of October 2024 through December 2024. And then as 2025 progressed, I did add some goals. But with all this said, the main goal setting process started way before 2025 even started. Earlier in 2025, I came across a video with Ali Abdul. He's basically like a guru of like productivity. So he basically had like I want to say like a 3-day series where he just went through like intentional goal setting. And the thing that really stuck with me was like, he had us in one of his meetings write out a eulogy and what we would personally say about ourselves, and then what somebody else, like if we were writing from somebody else's perspective, what they would say about us. It was very challenging, but like me writing it down, it was like constant themes that I was seeing, and I was like, these are all things that I can change and I have the power to change. So that also helped influence some of my goals in 2025 as well. Overall, the most important thing that I took from the whole like 3-day series was intentional goal setting, but then also setting quarterly goals, because I feel like for me, what I struggled with in the past is having goals for the entire year. That just didn't work for me. When you set quarterly goals, you still have goals for the whole entire year, but instead of you writing goals for the whole entire year, you just have like a subset. Quarter one for me was literally January, February, March. So 3 months, I just had to focus on the goals that I wanted to accomplish, and then so on. And then another thing that stuck out to me was from like other YouTube videos and like stuff I was reading is the importance of 5. And I know I talked about this in another video, but like I had 5 core goals in 2025 that I focused on, and those branched out from like the subset of my quarterly goals. So I will say like one of the main goals was education, finishing school. I did graduate last year. Another one was financial stability, finding better ways to manage my money, and also getting out of debt, and also stop spending my money so aimlessly. Another one, it was YouTube, so being more consistent with my YouTube channel, just starting my YouTube channel. And then I had 2 more, but I'm drawing a blank. Besides the point. And then another thing I adopted over the year as the quarters progressed, I adopted a wins like journal, but I kept mine virtual because I just always had my phone on me. Basically, like a wins is just like a note or some notes where when you think about it, you just jot down a couple of wins that you had for the week or for the day, and it's supposed to help you keep your momentum going for the rest of the year, or just like whatever you're trying to accomplish. So let's say like you are trying to finish school. Instead of you looking at the big picture of like, oh my gosh, I want to graduate or I want to finish this class, like your win could be like, okay, I really didn't want to write a discussion post, but I wind up doing my discussion post early, as well as commenting on additional people's posts, something like that. That could be a win. A win could literally be like, I didn't eat out today, I used that money for gas. A win could be anything that is a win to you. Alright, so now we're gonna go over my goals for 2025. So again, the first one I had on here was 2025 is my year, and 2025 was my year, okay? Still is, period. Basically, my vision board is comprised of things I wanted to accomplish in 2025, as well as things that I wanted to accomplish just in life in general, because I don't believe like the goals you set for that year are just for that year alone. Like the goals you set are like goals in general. So like if you didn't finish something from the previous year, you can always push it to the next year and like have hyper focus on that. Or maybe you need to reevaluate and see like why that goal isn't working, and like either change how you're processing that goal in your head, or just maybe kick it out if it's really not working for you, because I don't believe in keeping things that just aren't serving you. But anyway, I'm gonna read through a couple of them. In the top left hand corner, we have a quote. It says, "Nothing is difficult, everything is a challenge, through adversity to the stars." And this was just a quote that stuck out for me from the movie Red Tails, because I don't know, it just resonates. Like nothing really is difficult, it really do be a challenge, and it's all about how like you see it, and adversity is how you get through the challenge. Another quote that I have, and I've had this quote since, I want to say since 2022, and it's literally one life, just one. Why aren't we running like we're on fire towards our wildest dreams? And that is a quote that really resonates with me, because it always reminds me to like live life, because you literally only have one. So like really, why aren't we running to our wildest dreams? Another one of mine that I liked was, "The future depends on what you do today," because it does. Then there was I think everybody liked this one when I shared it with them. The money already printed, you just gotta go get it. And then I think another favorite one for me at least was, "You're overthinking this again, you got this," because I just do a lot of overthinking. Like that was a big reason as to why I couldn't, or at least I felt like I couldn't accomplish anything, because I was too in my dome and not out in life. And like 2025, I really just tried to be out in life. Like if it didn't work, what the heck, try something else. So travel is on here, but you want to know the funny thing? A goal of mine was to not travel for a year. And yeah, so even though that wasn't a per se 2025 goal, it still wind up being a 2025 goal. I don't want to talk too much on it. I'll share it with you later this year in 2026, but something on here travel wise did get accomplished and is getting accomplished, and I will reveal it to you in 2026. A big one is it all worked out, past tense, because I know there's a quote that one of my favorite YouTubers that I watch says, what if it doesn't work out? And then it's like, well, what if it does? I like it all worked out because that's confirmation that it literally all worked out. So you literally have nothing to worry about. The pictures that I have on here, I have a girl with a grad cap, and that is for me because I graduated. Batty, shot o'clock. And then I also have the tassel, and that also is for graduation. I had the 2 hearts, and that was for love, but it wasn't love in the sense of a romantic partner. 2025 was really my year of self-love, because again, back to before 2025 started, part of the reason why I had to have that talk with myself in 2024 was because I was having tremendous just not even, I don't want to say bad luck with love, but I just struggled to understand love and how to love myself and love someone else. So that's all I'm going to share for right now. Self-love is those 2 hearts, and then I have a quote about self-love. I do have a picture of Brazil and I think Greece, and that just goes with the whole travel theme. I actually did want to go to Brazil for New Year's, but then I had the realization of, since my goal was financial stability, I just was like, what if we just do a year where we don't go traveling out of the country or doing these expensive trips? And the reason for that was delayed gratification. That was attached to discipline. And then again, that's also what the rich people do. You spend a little couple years sacrificing and a little bit of suffering, and then boom, you're rich. And that's part of my goal. Another favorite one of mine is from the movie Transformers, and it's literally no sacrifice, no victory. And that one stays with me throughout the years. There is a picture of someone on YouTube with 10k subscribers. That'll be me one day. I'm also happy with my 81 right now. From last year, I had a girl with, or not last year, but 2 years ago, I had a girl with long hair, and that's part of just hair journey in general, which I wind up chopping my hair off. So yeah. So now we're gonna just do a recap and see out of the 2025 goals, I would say I accomplished majority of them, and then some are still pending. And yeah, I don't think the vision board is to accomplish everything in that year again. I think it's just a visualizer, something that's always in your mental, saying I want to achieve this, and you just going after it and trying to achieve it. So before I conclude out this video, I just want to talk about something that the rich folk do and the successful folk do, and that is, before you make any new goals for the new year, you have to reflect and kind of rewind and see what didn't work for you in the previous year. So I have already done this, but I'm also going to be doing it in the first quarter of 2026. I'm just going to see what the heck didn't work for me. But a big one that didn't work for me was, I don't want to say over explaining myself. I kind of stopped doing that, but giving out free advice to people who never asked. I am not doing that anymore. It is so draining, and it's not worth my time. If they didn't ask, I'm not doing it. That's a big one for me. I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope there's gems that you took from this, and I will see you in a couple of days where I will actually hash out the purpose of intentional goal setting and different types of goal setting, because maybe setting quarterly goals doesn't work for you. Maybe there's something else that works, and I just want to share what works, because I don't even know if this year I'm gonna use the quarterly goal system. Like, it did work in 2025, but like, this is life. You can try anything you want. And I want to try some new goal setting in 2026. So stay tuned and join me next time. Bye.